All right, we have joining us right now a lawyer, Adekunle Ojo. He will be talking about this with us right now. Well, Adekunle, good morning.
Thank you so much.
Nice to have you join us.
Good morning.
Nice
Now,
to be with you.
when it comes to issues of social injustice, I guess it boils down or it stems from the issue of discrimination one way or the other. But the configuration, the way we are, human beings, can there really be fairness in everything?
Well, the truth has to be said, and that is that even among the nobles, not all can still be equal. Even among senators, you still have somebody who has to become the Senate president. So whether we like it or not,
officers?
so principal officer. And if you had listened to Jibril, and if you had listened to what he alleged, then you can really decipher that. Look, even among the so-called equals, some are better placed than
some are
others.
more equal than the
more
others.
Equal, better placed than others. So in human endeavors, so we should expect that at every point in time, somebody leads. How he leads is a different question entirely. But as it were, we are promoting it, and it's good that it is promoted so that there could be equality in almost all that we do. But how do we attain that? If a man born at the same time with another man earns as low as 18,000 naira and his peer, they were born the same day, because of what he has acquired in life, because of his education, because of his status, earn as much as 1 million naira within the same month, you wouldn't blame anybody per se, but then you would blame the system that put a man at such a pole apart from the other man. So I think basically it's not going to be easy to bring the pig and the dove at the same level. It's not going to be really easy, but then give the pig a good opportunity to live a better life, give him an impression, give him hope, like the leader of APC said. Give him hope, give him an impression that look, as bad as his situation is reckoned with, and is somebody that is respected in the society. I think that's the
There's something like a sense of belonging.
Sense of belonging, right?
Okay, basically it's about equitable distribution of income.
Yeah.
But it's the environment. Maybe we should focus more on the environment and perhaps, like you alluded to, the system. What can we do right really to encourage this?
Well, I think basically a lot of things actually needed to be looked into, and that's why personally I'm amused when I won't blame them. It's an aggregate, or you can even call aggregation of a lot of people coming together to decide that we want a better pay. We want, with 18,000 naira is ridiculously low and all whatnot. But my question is this: yes, even if it is jacked up to 50,000 naira, it will still not be enough for you. And it's more reason why some of us will agitate and look. If a government comes into, because in our system, almost everything in this country, whether we like it or not, depends on the government. That's the truth. A contractor lives on the government. Even some lawyers, you don't get to, if somebody earns 75, you remember what does happen in Ekiti. So it's like almost everyone lives basically on the system itself. And if a man has given, I asked this question: if I earn 18,000 naira, definitely you can be rest assured that it will take me to wherever I want to get to. I have 2 children, maybe 2, that's minimum, and the 2 are in the university, and I have a wife, and I still have to, and I live in Ikeja. My office is in Victoria Island, and you give me 18,000 naira in the month. Perhaps the 18,000 naira to me may not be the problem really, but then if you decide as a government that look, the 2 children are going to be taken care of, housing is going to be taken care of, you are going to subsidize what I eat each month, every month in, month out, and all whatnot, like we have the lake rice and whatever. If all those things are done, then definitely the pressure on the people and the agitation will be reduced to the barest minimum. People won't have to come around. You can imagine, I earn 18,000 naira. I carry a file that is the worth of that file, whether we like it or not, is in the billions. And a man approaches me and says, "Look, man, I'm going to give you 1 million naira." Yes, that's not an impetus for me to convert whatever he's giving me. But then for somebody who is covetous, he might fall for it and say, "Look, after all, what do I earn?"
Be somebody who is hungry.
Yes, who is
it's
hungry.
more like the world.
Yes,
you don't have to be covetous,
yes.
you're hungry.
Hungry. So you can imagine, and you see, I said this. I'm a judge. I give that as an instance. I earn as much as me. I have millions in every month. The man who facilitates my job within that precinct of my work earns 18,000 naira, and this is the man. Without him, I can't even walk. Nobody's going to bring out the files. Nobody's going to dust the file. Nobody's going to clean my office. So if you put all of this together, then you will know that talking about social injustice, if you are looking for social injustice, you can find it almost at every nook and corner of Nigeria.
All right, the Constitution of Nigeria has room for, in fact, has spelled out no one should be discriminated on the ground of gender, on the ground of religion, on the ground of ethnic, whatever you call it. So, to a great extent, that the provision, there's a constitutional provision, to prevent against injustice. But as it is, I'm going to ask you this question when we come back from the break. But let's go on the break first, and then we'll come back. Now, stay with us on TVC Breakfast. We're also going out on TVC Entertainment, but viewers there can continue with the program on TVC Nigeria on Concert Channel 190 and DSTV Channel 418.
Go TV 45 and Nisi TV 510. Let's come back and we'll know if you've been treated fairly or not. Stay with us.
We are discussing issues of social justice. Is the International Day to recognize and understand and draw people's attention to social injustice across the world today. And we have with us Adekunle Ojo, a lawyer, with us in the studio. We've been talking about this. Now, before we went on break, I was going to ask you that the Constitution already has provision to safeguard against any kind of injustice, but we still have injustices across the length and breadth of the country. So what's the missing link, really?
Well, I think if you look at the very chapter of the Constitution that says that there should be
freedom of association,
social equality, economic equality, and so on and so forth, then you would, in fact, it even says that you should be afforded health facilities. It says that you have the right to, I mean, not right per se, but you should be given some iota, an ability to live a very good life as a Nigerian. All of these are in our Constitution. Then the question that you ask, or that I ask, is this, which is ironical. You have given with the right hand and you took away with the left hand, then the man is left with nothing. Because apparently this is an angle, this is a chapter of the Constitution that remains non-justiciable up to today, meaning that you cannot even go to court and say, look, somebody suffered infant mortality or whatever you call it, and you want to challenge it in court. Somebody was in the hospital, he was not, he wasn't afforded health facility, so you want to challenge, not in Nigeria. And the question that we keep asking is this: if I can't be afforded good health, and I cannot challenge the fact that I was not afforded good health, then what is my right to life? It makes no sense of the entire thing that we're talking about.
In the Constitution.
So, yeah, in the Constitution. So if you had all of this together, it's high time that we look into that book called the Constitution. There are so much inconsistencies. There are so much that, and beyond that, the whole world has left where we are now. That's the truth. If you go to India, they have things that are similar, and all that the judges and the justices in India, all that they have done was to find a way around about it and say, look, if this is in the Constitution, then definitely, yes, you say it's injusticiable, but they adopted what I could call activism on the bench, and they say, look, this man is entitled to live a very good life, therefore we are ruling this way. And it has over years now, it has become the norm there. A man is, if you don't give me a good job in India now, people can really go, they can ask questions, they can approach the court, but in Nigeria you still cannot do that. There was a spillage somewhere in Delta State sometimes ago, maybe perhaps that is the only isolated case. Somebody went to the High Court, and it's on behalf of the people around the place, and eventually he got a fairly good judgment. But that's more reason you find out that when somebody was to take Shell to court sometimes ago, they didn't do it in Nigeria. He had to go all the way abroad, because otherwise here somebody will come around to say that you have no locus standi. So it's high time that we look at all these economic rights, all these social rights, and give a greater space, a wider space, to within which all of these things
What
can...
about the fundamental right you have to even protest, to say, no, this I don't want? Just in question, this last protest, a lot of shenanigans went along with that particular protest. So, okay, you don't have permission. No, okay, you don't have permit. After Falana argued in court, I'm sure you remember that particular case, and Justice Chinyere ruled, and one other, Fumilayo ruled and said that portion of the act is not consistent with the Constitution.
As it is, some of us, I hold it and it's sacred. I strongly believe it, that if I have every freedom to associate, if you beat me, you can't ask me not to cry. The people are feeling the pinch. They are feeling, no, you are not doing it right. And that's where I'm on the same page with Femi Falana. That look, the right for a man to protest cannot be hindered under whatever auspices. You don't even, we have said this severally, and the position that I maintain is that I don't even need to approach the police to say I want to cry. I mean, do I need to tell my mom I want to cry? It's a voluntary action. You can even call it involuntary too. A man has been beaten. You expect him to come and seek permission from you before he cries. No, it's not done anywhere in the whole world. It's a right. All that we need to do is, if I'm protesting to it, has to be within the ambit of the law. I don't have to damage, I don't have to disrupt, I don't have to disturb you from doing.
Won't the criminal law substitute in that case? If you turn violent, if you become violent, then the criminal law takes over.
Well, a protest naturally is because it's about rights and duties. I owe you a duty. I have a right, but as much as I got that right, I owe you a duty too. I shouldn't hinder you. If you choose to walk, go and walk. If I choose not to walk, that's my cup of tea. So, but if it gets bad, if I now have to hold you down, tie you down, if I have to kidnap you just because I want to protest and I want you out of my way, then it becomes a crime. And these are, we have
that amounts to infringing
on you are infringing on another person's rights. We have all of these things exercised everywhere in the whole world. Somebody can just wake up and say, oh, I'm not happy with what the government is doing, and he looks at his car and he smashed the windscreen, and he has the right to because it is his. But by the time he now comes around to smash another person's windscreen, it becomes a crime. So I think basically we should be able to identify our rights and the duties that we go to.
Let's look at some other underlining principles of social justice. Right. One of them has to do with coexistence, peaceful coexistence and prosperous coexistence within nations, among nations. Question, point in reference, Southern Kaduna killing. Right. What is going on there in terms of social justice?
Well,
What's your opinion?
I think the Southern Kaduna saga is most unfortunate, and I put the blame at the doorstep of the government. You see, I keep asking questions because I need to be protected. The right to protect persons, to protect properties. Yet, we have it. I can protect you. That's the truth, if I have the ability. But the greater right is with the government to ensure that there is safety for each and everyone that is within this country. And I keep wondering, don't we gather information again, intelligence reports again? Because it happened once, it happened twice, it was in quick succession. So it's not like it happened in a flash and you never really got to see them again. They came not only once, not only twice. And I've had cause to say that that's more reason why a lot of people were reading religious meanings into it. Because if you look at the men that are at the helm of affairs, by providence, they belong to a particular religion. I talk about the IG, the Inspector General of Police, the National Security Advisor, the DSS person, and all whatnot. And these are the people that even the governor again. So apparently, you see, and
then the president,
the president again. So when you have all of these put together, it gives some insinuations. It gives people the room to say, look, it's because we don't belong. And if you look at it so well, yes, there are some Muslims, there are some people of diverse religion in that part of the country, but predominantly the people belong to a particular religion. It's most unfortunate, and I will continue to say that I put the blame at the doorstep of the government. You didn't do what you are supposed to do. You should have nipped it at the in the bud before it escalated to what we had. If as much as, yes, that is what I had. I never went there. If as much as 801 persons died, then it is most unfortunate, because out of this, perhaps there are people who perhaps in future will have become the president of Nigeria, become governors of Kaduna State and all whatnot. So we have really become inventors. It's a colossal loss for the nation, and it's high time that we look at what happened in Enugu sometimes ago. To these people, they knew fully well that the people, even the commoners within the area, the people, the indigents, they knew that these assailants were coming, and they've sent prior notice to people that are expected to protect, to guard them. But unfortunately,
by people, you're talking of the Nigerian police, or who are the people precisely?
Well, we talk about the DSS, we talk about the police. Great. Yes, because they really they knew that these people were coming. But unfortunately, reports. How they beat us to it, how they beat our security men to it, is a call for a risk scrutiny. We need to really investigate how come that it is after the deed has been done that we wake up to say, oh look, we don't want it any longer, and before you say you don't want it any longer, about 1,000 souls are already lost.
All right, now in the society where we live here, especially here in Nigeria, what form of social injustice is most prevalent that you have seen?
Well, I think the greatest social injustice that I see in this nation is they are like Siamese twins, poverty and illiteracy. It's colossal. You see, if you ask me to come and vote for you, I don't even understand. You see, if you imagine that 80% of Nigerians are still below the literacy level, then you ask me to come and I don't even understand your ideology. What you are saying makes well, it's meaningless. But all the same, because I am illiterate, number one, you give me a bag of rice, or is it up to a bag? Maybe maybe a cup of rice now. And okay, I say, oh, go demand it. Sometimes ago, I had an occasion to ask some illiterate women, oh, in this election, who are you going to vote for? He said, that guy that is giving us water. Apparently, I mean, somebody brought in tanker and he was distributing water, and you are not even bothered about what he's doing. And again, if you had illiteracy with poverty, you won't have any doubt about it that, look, if these two are really tackled, then the society will be better for all of us. You can aspire. You are talking about local content. An average Niger dental want to get a good job, but he has no education with which he can compete successfully with the foreign expatriate. So these are areas that we really need to look into as a people. And poverty again, how come you won't approach me with even 50,000 naira to change who I'm going to vote for? That's the truth, because I will tell you I'm literate enough. It's that bad now that when people get to voting centers, after voting, they put up their GSM phone. They lift up the ballot papers to indicate to their sponsors that, look, I voted the way you wanted me to vote and all whatnot. So it's that bad. This are really, it has become more of a cause for this nation. The nation is it's even poor. The country itself is poor.
Okay. All right. We'll get more into that. Let's go on a break, and then we'll come back to discuss more on social injustice in Nigeria. Stay with us on TVC Breakfast.
Glad to have you back. It is TVC Breakfast, and it's International Day of Social Justice. Are you getting justice? We have a lawyer in the studio, Adekunle Ojo, telling us all we need to know. Taking a look at some critical areas in Nigeria where issues of social injustice are prevalent. And you were talking about poverty. And I remember a couple of years back, the United Nations report, the Index Development, show justice. Are you getting justice? We have a lawyer in the studio, Adekunle Ojo, telling us all we need to know. Taking a look at some critical areas in Nigeria where issues of social injustice are prevalent. And you were talking about poverty. And I remember a couple of years back, the United Nations report, the Index Development, came out and said the issue of all-inclusive growth. It's actually the problem in Nigeria, where the gap between the haves and the have-nots keeps getting wider. The gamut of the wealth of Nigeria is concentrated in very few hands.
Yes.
How can that trend be changed?
Well, you see, basically, we need to, our leaders, you see, often when I talk about poverty and illiteracy, I see these two as deliberate malaise imposed on the people by successive governments. You see, at a point in time, this country was in more than enough. We were living in providence as a country. Someone even went out to say that our problem is not about money, it's about what to do with it. You see, over the years, because it is more advantageous to most of our political gladiators to have the poor and the illiterate as political thugs during elections and all whatnot. You need people to do your core, your house cleaning and all whatnot to you, for you. You see, it pays them to keep people at that level. That's the way I see it. But then, you see, it has come to a time that we need to have a rethink. We need to have the fear of the Lord. I'm not preaching now, but that's the truth. But that's the truth. That's the truth. Now, we need to have a rethink. How do we ensure that these people become emancipated? How can we loosen this rope that is tied to their neck? And that is more reason why we need to look at this constitution. If a man says, I don't have a job, he should have a right to social intake at the end of the month. And it has to be substantial enough. A lot of people live on that in better climes, especially in UK and all whatnot. So even while you are looking for a better job, you have something to live on. If for whatever reason things becomes much more better for us, the transportation is working well, the housing thing is working well, and average Nigeria can, with the little that you have, you can get yourself to wherever you want to go to. You can have a better shelter covering you while you want to sleep in the evening and whatever. If all of these are in place, then definitely an average Nigerian will have been taken out of the poverty level. But deliberately, nobody really seems to care about all of these things. This is like the present government says, okay, we are paying some people, but then, yes, it's a good start. To me, it's a good start. But then how far this will go has become a question.
But Nigerians themselves,
yeah,
will they, if they just sit down for government to do that for them, do you think it will be impactful enough? Do you think it can emancipate them enough if they don't take that chance by themselves, taking the bull by the horn and deciding things should change?
Well, I quite agree with you, because even like the man who gets to the polling booth and is offered 500 naira and he voted against his conscience, then definitely he has sold his right. And you see, that's why I will still take you back to the constitution again. You see, we don't even have a form of asking our leaders to account to us. The only time that we have them to account back to us is when we want to vote again. And unfortunately, they already have a way to get about it. Thank God for the fourth realm of estate, that is the journalist, that you ask questions. Otherwise, it will have been a colossal, a bad situation for Nigeria. But as it were, I think basically the fourth, yes, like you rightly said, an illiterate person. All he needs in life is, he just needed just some 5,000 naira there that can take care of
just to survive for now.
So apparently, for you to now expect him to agitate against his oppressor is going to be too, it might be suicidal for him. He needs just 5,000 naira to take care of certain needs that are so urgent, and someone has offered him. But we need to really, that is where the failure of the NGOs comes in. I keep asking questions. Where do we get political talks from? Is it because we don't give enough education? You are supposed to go into the creeks, especially in the southeast. Talk to people. Talk them out of all this crisis. Let them know that Governor A, Governor B don't have his own children in the trenches fighting, killing themselves. You need to talk to them that all of this, you are mortgaging the future of your children. Because I can tell you one truth, that when you have an onion, if it's going to reproduce, it may reproduce another onion. A poor man may reproduce another poor man. It's a circle. So let them know that it is time for you. Like a governor said in Ibadan, he mentioned the name of the other man. He said, I and Boda, we are not fighting. And meanwhile, they are the political gladiators, and people are dying because of these two. So I think basically this is where the blame go to several, other than the government, the NGOs, they have not done enough in terms of talking with the people, because basically people can be like what happened recently. The man came around, he said we are going to agitate and all what not. Maybe he was talked out of it. Maybe he was coerced out of it. I wouldn't know what happened, but he chickened out at the when it was needed most. Is you have this kind of a thing. People were already agitated. People were even willing to follow him. But who do you follow? The man is supposed to lead you along the line. He has compromised one way or the other. These are areas that we really need to. I tell you one truth. If an agitation is going to be led, you still have some of these bourgeoisies. If the bourgeoisies are the ones that are dictating the pace, then definitely you may never get the uhuru that you are expecting.
What about the allegation, which is all rife in Nigeria, of the children of the haves having more opportunity to even get better jobs in Nigeria? The allegation on the CBN was there. The allegation on the tax office was there. We've not even heard the bottom and the tail of it, where people have been sneaking through the back doors, and those who are qualified can't even get the job.
No, you classify it as allegation, but that's the truth. It's not a mere allegation. It's the truth, because I'm a governor. You are the CBN governor, and my ward needs a job. It's easier for me to approach you, and you know fully well that one day you will need me to as a governor. I think this is the way it has been, and it has kept the poor where they are, while the rich are having more than what they have already. That's the truth, because for the president, for the vice president, for a senator, it's much easier for them to talk to the governor and say, look, this is my son, fix him up. He's going to fix him, because he knows fully well that there is reciprocity in all of these things that we are doing. He's going to get benefit from you. He won't get the same benefit from the poor.
All right. Adekunle, thank you very much for coming on the program this morning. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, it's the World Day of Social Justice, and we've been discussing dimensions of these in our country. Stay with us now. We'll discuss the next topic shortly.